Hello, I'm David Kenny, aka Mr. Awesome X300. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about part 2 out of 3 of Limgrave, the starting area in Elden Ring. So, we last left off at the Church of Ele. Now we are going to go to the Dragonburnt Ruins. These are ruins near the starting point. Ruins in Elden Ring have at least one underground section with the treasure chest under it, which contains mostly weapons, but there are also some incantations, sorceries, and talismans as well. But this one has a trap. It's going to take you to a mini dungeon in Caelid, which I will get to when we talk about that kind of mini dungeon. But if when you find the correct one, which is hidden and is only available through the use of the spirit steed known as Torrent, you'll get a good weapon. Before I talk about that, though, I'd like to talk to you about the dragon there. Agil, feared by the ruined locals because they keep chanting the dragon's name. And he comes north from there. He breathes fire, bites, uses his tail, all the stuff dragons do, including flying and burning as well. When you beat this dragon, you get a draconic power that's available at the Cathedral of Dragon Communion. The Cathedral of Dragon Communion is in Caelid, and I'll get to that when we talk about Caelid. But for now, let's move on to what's under the chest in the correct way, not the trap. This is a twin blade. It's best wielded two-handed. That's right, two hands are better than one in this case. Now, at Stormvile Castle, which is a legacy dungeon, and I will be talking about each of the 6 legacy dungeons individually in individual videos, there's a passageway guarded by a lion guardian, if you will. You can beat it along with the golems there. Along the way as well, you can get the Bolt Drake Talisman, which, by the way, protects you from lightning-based attacks by 13%, just like the Halleck Drake does to Holy. Now, when you do get there, you can activate the Rune of Godric. As I told you, Godric is one of the Shared Bearers, the 7 demigods, and each of these demigods wields a great rune. They are used to activate special abilities. Now, on to northeastern Limgrave, or eastern Limgrave. This is Fort Haight, Fortress of the Great Kenneth Haight, as he so calls himself, by the forces of Godric. You must clear him out to please him. And when you take the Commander Knight out, you get a good Ash of War. It's Bloody Slash, by the way. Ashes of War are skills that you use to coat your armament with. I'll get to that in a sec, how to coat the armament. But first comes this Bloody Slash. It coats your weapon in blood for extra bleed damage. Bleed, by the blood loss, by the way, is one of the another attribute of damage. Gatefront Ruins, guarded by Godric's forces at the gateway to Stormhill. I'll talk about that at the end of this part. Now, the chest here contains the tools you need for Ashes of War, like the whetstone knife. That is the main tool you need to coat your Ashes of War. And there are other wet blades out there, but I'll get to them when we get to those individual videos. Before that, I want to talk to you about something else. Carriages. They're all around the lands between. They mostly have chests guarded by 2 trolls and caravans, mainly of enemies. The reason why I mention this is because there are 2 broken ones in these ruins. There's also a carriage around eastern Limgrave. That carriage contains a chest. The carriages here contain chests, mainly weapons, but one chest at Altus Plateau contains a talisman. The chest in this eastern Limgrave caravan wields the Great Axe, a heavily wielded axe that requires more strength than a regular axe. Anyway, the two here, first we have the flail, a ball and chain, extra bleed damage, or should I say, blood loss. The other carriage, the Lord Sworn Greatsword. These are wielded by soldiers as well, just like the Soldier of Godric I mentioned the previous part. This is a good one, a good starter greatsword until others come. Oh yes, there will be others. Now, the Astral War in the chest is Storm Stomp. Allows you to produce an air-flowing stomp. Available for all melee weapons like most of these Ashes of War. Also in Eastern Limgrave, we have Mistwood. Northern Limgrave. It's the path that leads to Fort Hate. Speaking of which, forgot to mention one thing about Kenny. Two things, actually, about Mr. Height. Once you please him, he'll let you wait for your knighthood, as well as give you a holy infused dagger known as the Erd Steel Dagger. It scales with faith. That's one thing. Another thing, it would seem that he would be communicating with demi-humans, because when you return there, they're in the fort. Anyway, also there, while Godric's forces are out there, they're actually at the entrance. Just want to let you know that. Anyway, also along the path to Fort Hate is the Mistwood Ruins. We have good news and bad news about these ruins. Before I get to them, I'll just get some other news. In other news in these ruins, the NPC furry I mentioned, known as Blythe the Half-Wolf, it can be found here. Unfortunately, I myself didn't learn that until I met him at Cypher River. Because I just wanted to get the talisman that's in the under chest, which, by the way, is a good buff for a certain type of weapon. Unfortunately, it's guarded by a ferocious beast. It is known as a rune bear. I'll get to that when I talk about the cave that it's the boss of. Trust me, you don't want to meet them. And neither did I. That's right, I played this once before and I'm going to tell you all about my experience. Is when I talk about them in their appropriate times. First, the talisman here is the Axe Talisman. Axe charge attack buffs, that's what it does. You see, Godfrey the First Elden Lord, which I mentioned already, and I'll probably be mentioning a lot more, wore a board axe. He wielded it, by the way. That's what it means. Along with his followers. And I'll be getting to those axes later. There are axes and great axes, along with other weapon types. Anyway, also along Mistwood Path is the Cypher River Well. Takes you to the Cypher River, but it's underground. One more thing. There are minor Erd trees scattered throughout the lands between. These minor Erd trees have crystal tears that will be used for a concoction that I'll be talking about next part. But this Erd tree is unique because there's a scarab next to it. Actually, it's not unique. There's one other one coming up that also has a scarab. If once you defeat the scarab, it gives you the Ash of Warner's Ground Slam. Basically a butt stomp. That's basically what it is. Now, Stormhill. The area near Stormvile Castle, and enemies are a little tougher around here. And I should let you know, wolves, which are normal around the Lands Between as well, and Land of Shadow, fall from the sky here. I'm just letting you know that just in case you get surprised. Now, as for the final and third part, I'll be talking more about that concoction, and also some of the other bosses in Limgrave. Until then, please like and subscribe and click the notification button for whenever I post. Until then, goodbye. Bye.